I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I want to be an ambassador of love and a voice for a voiceless, whatever that looks like.
I have a dream to see the end of human trafficking and to use my full potential to see that happen.
I wish to become more and more like Christ and to disciple actresses in Hollywood.
To know God and be known by Him.
My dream is to see healing, wholeness and restoration for all those who have been involved in the sex trade, both the men and the women. And I believe that as the generations cycle, that will lead to the end of sex trafficking and sex trade, and just to see a redemption of sexuality in that and a restoration of people's identities.
I had a vision when I was 25, so it's like been a couple of decades of this dream where I saw all this light, and it was like this vibrant vision of a place where people were coming and they were not just getting having a spiritual encounter, but it was really a holistic experience where their bodies and their minds and their souls were being completely restored. And so when the Lord started to speak to us about creating a place of refuge, that's when that vision that I had when I was 25 going, oh, is it time now? Is it time? Because it was all about timing, because I'd been asking for 25 years.
We thought we were going to buy a house, settle down, that was going to be our life. And that was a dream in my heart, was to own a home and to have, just because we had lived on camp properties our whole life as a married couple. And so I had this vision where the Lord showed me this beautiful village with these homes that were just beautiful, looked like out of an English countryside village, you know, and these homes were beautiful. And I was saying, I want to go there, I want that, Lord. And He came to me, and He was actually dressed as a Sherpa, which I hadn't come back to California yet. I didn't really know about Rancho La Sherpa. So he was dressed as a Sherpa, a mountain guide. And he came to me and he said, Michelle, I know you want that, but I'm going there. And he pointed to the mountains and he said, I think that I know you well enough to know that you want to go with me. And I'm going there. Do you want to come with me? I'm going on an adventure. Will you come? And I wanted the house, but when I looked in his eyes, of course I wanted him more. So I laid that down. And then the Lord brought us here. And I get to live in this beautiful house, at least for right now. And it's still a dream in my heart, but for now, we're on the adventure with the Lord. And it's for the sake of the ones that He loves, that He wants to give home to.
At first I was like, how is this media piece going to fit in? Because that's not what Michelle and I have been part of. You know, we've been pastors and involved in inner healing type of restoration ministries. And as I began to ask the Lord, I'm like, Lord, how does this artistic media piece fit in with what our dream is? And He began to show me pictures of how the girls have been exploited. And it's been through the media, and it's been through the arts, it's been through pornography, and it's been through the internet, and it's been through all of these areas that they've mostly been exploited and enslaved through. And it just struck me. I was like, oh God, I understand what you're doing. I understand why you wanted to start here, because this is where they have been so exploited. This is the point of their exploitation, has been in the arts and media.
The camp really came about originally was just the sole focus was to use it for girls that are rescued out of the sex trade. And on that journey of working with those girls and getting the licensing, and God just kind of put it on our heart to use it for an IRIS boot camp. And can we use it for media, and can we use it to allow kids to chase their dreams, and can they really be fulfilled and find God in the midst of this thing?
We really wanted to bring together creatives in an intentional way, so to build community, to create relationship. where creatives could gather and intentionally seek God, but also where they could build community and relationship with one another.
In many ways, it feels like this was God's dream, that this was God's vision, because I don't think any of us originally were out to be in the camp industry and to do a school like this, but it was really made clear to each one of us that this is what God wanted to do, and He wanted to birth Iris Hollywood through this, as well as obviously the background that was going on with the sex trafficking victims and Hope Refuge. So Sarah put it brilliantly. Actually, she got a picture one day about birthing twins. And through this, God was really birthing twins. There was the whole piece of the survivors, and then there was this whole piece of Iris Hollywood.
Before I came to the camp, I knew that I had dreams, and I knew that I wanted to pursue music and the arts, but it was always something that I wasn't sure about. I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm good enough to do it. I don't know if this is the only thing I want to do, and I just didn't know how it would all fit. I think being at this camp has made it a lot more of a doable thing for me. I believe that media really influences our society and generations, and especially like increasingly with music and movies. And so if we're going to educate the generations about their identity and about like pure sexuality, then the media is a great way to do that. And especially I think through music, what you listen to filters in, and it slowly changes your belief systems. So if we can have positive like music and arts released, then belief systems will be slowly changed back to godly ones.
One of the easiest ways for me to really sum up the dream God put in my heart was the vision that He gave me of the Hollywood Bride.
Yeah.
And just this bride that was so in need of Him. You know, she was blind, her dress was in tatters, she had a heart of stone, she was completely homeless, and I felt like the Lord said, that's my Hollywood Bride, and I want you to go to her too. And we were in Africa at the time, and as He gave me that vision, I really realized that Jesus is longing to bring home His Hollywood Bride. He's longing for the entertainment industry to know Him, to experience Him as the ultimate creator.
Living and being amongst the industry in Hollywood, we just feel so passionate about people actually finding and fulfilling the fullness of their destinies. And so for us, a big part of our dream, I would have to say, would be seeing people actually empowered to really chase after what God's put in them, to pursue Him with all of their hearts, but then in that to discover the fullness of what He's called them to, and to be fully released creatively and artistically to birth their dreams.
To see this fulfilled would be seeing believers in the entertainment industry in every sphere walking as sons and daughters, really knowing who they are.
To see the next generation really rise up and start creating and making excellent, theatre, film, music that is just so full of God. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christian, but so full of God and His presence, that the great stories that just inspire people to come up to have to be better, to have to do something, to stop injustice, to get on that white horse and ride and, kill the enemy who's destroying the children, or whatever, the good guy and the bad guy. It's the classic drama of all time, good versus evil. To see goodness rise up and destroy true darkness and true evil.
If one teenage girl who's thinking about going into the sex trade hears my music and changes her mind, that's all I care about, so that's all I'm writing for. I just want to get it out there so that if God breathes on it, the one or the two can hear it.
What I started to realise as I just got more and more intimate with the Father is that Jesus has an inheritance still. And gets emotional. Yeah, He's got an inheritance in my life. But not only that, He's got an inheritance that He wants to really inherit through other people's lives. And to see Jesus get His inheritance is everything. That's really what my dreams now revolve around.
For me, it looks like a girl who's being sold in sex slavery as a place to go when she is rescued, and it looks like God's presence manifesting on the earth and bringing people into his kingdom and bringing a child into a family. That's what the dream fulfilled looks like here anyway.
It looks like restoration of family, restoration of communities, more artists rising up.
In a nutshell, I feel like if what God's putting in us, we can release it and give it to others, and watch them give it to others, and then give it to others, and it just begins to in this wild thing called kingdom. You know, can it really just flourish, and can it really wreck a city? Can it really change a nation?
One day when I stand before Jesus, I want to see that he's actually fulfilled his dreams, his story through my life, and that's really what we've set our hearts on this journey for. And so, I think that it's to be part of his story, and he's the greatest storyteller that's ever been and will ever be. And so whatever we can do to surrender our lives and our journey to be part of his story is our ultimate dream, and that will be the fulfillment of my dreams.
Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady. Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady. Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady. Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady. Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady. Eyes wide open, heart is heavy. Guard my steps, cause I gotta keep steady.